Hey guys, welcome to the kickoff video of our 2025 temperature sampler blanket crochet along project. I am so excited to start this year-long journey with you. This project is all about capturing the year, one day, one stitch, and one temperature at a time. So let's dive right in and get started from the very beginning. First things first, if you haven't already, head over to my website, crochetwithtiffany.com, to print out your free January calendar stitch card. This card is going to be your guide for the entire month. Each day you'll record the temperature, match it to your temperature gauge, and note which yarn color to use. This way everything is organized and you'll always know which color comes next and you're always prepared. Now let's talk about the January crochet stitch of the month, the alternate stitch. I love this stitch. I feel like all crocheters should play with this stitch at some point in their crochet journey. This stitch is fun, it's textured, and it's really a perfect stitch for kicking off our blanket. But don't worry, I'll walk you through how to do that stitch in just a minute. January 1st is our starting point. That's where you'll take the yarn representing the temperature for that day, and you'll begin by making your foundation row chain. Once you reach the end of your foundation row chain and you're ready to start row 1, you're going to continue using the exact same yarn that you used for your foundation row. Your foundation row does not count as a day. January 1st is going to be both your foundation row and row 1. So both of those are going to be the same yarn used or the same color for January 1st.
We're going to begin by chaining 211 chains. The idea for this blanket is that it will be 5 feet wide because working one row every day, I'm anticipating this blanket getting to about 8 feet long. So making this blanket 5 feet wide will help give this blanket a better ratio of dimensions. All right, once you have satisfied your foundation row chain count, we're going to dive right into row 1 using the same color yarn we used for the foundation row just to keep things easy. Now for row 1 of this pattern, we're actually going to start by making one single crochet stitch in the second chain from our crochet hook. Let me back that up so you can see that again. So 1, 2, the loop on our crochet hook does not count as a stitch. Single crochet. Now to set this pattern up for success and this entire blanket, we're just going to make one single crochet stitch in every stitch all the way across.
And just like that, row 1 is done. Now let's look ahead to January 2nd. Check the temperature for that day. If it falls within the same temperature range as January 1st, then you'll continue using the exact same yarn, the exact same color. Easy peasy. But if the temperature falls into a different range, it's time to change colors. And here's how to make that smooth transition without skipping a beat.
Looking at January 2nd, if you are in the same temperature range and you're keeping the same color, you're just going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work, and then you are going to prepare to go. I'm going to pause right there. If you are having to change your color for row 2 because the temperature for January 2nd is in a different bracket or gauge range than January 1st, then we're going to go ahead and take our scissors. We're going to cut a long enough tail for us to be able to weave in that end. Move that off to the side, and I'm going to tie this off. There's many other ways you can attach a new color, but this is just really clean, it's really simple, and very beginner friendly. Then I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to grab the color that is indicated in my temperature gauge for whatever temperature January 2nd is. I'm going to create a slip knot and attach my crochet hook, just like that. And then I'm going to attach the yarn to the project by slip stitching into the very first stitch. So having the loop and pull through that chain. There we go. Now I have a slip stitch in that first stitch, but I'm not actually counting it as a stitch. I just attached the new color yarn to the project. Then I'm going to chain 1 for my turning chain, and we are now in the exact same spot whether you change colors or not. For row 1, we're going to skip that first stitch. In the second stitch, we are going to make both a single crochet and a double crochet. So 1, 2, single crochet, and double crochet. Now, if you are an absolute beginner crocheter and you have never made a single crochet or double crochet stitch before, I highly recommend that you go check some basics out before diving into a project, just so you're not frustrated and you can have the most fun. All right, continuing this pattern, we're going to skip the next stitch. In the following stitch, do the same thing, single crochet, double crochet. Single, double. Now, for those of you who have got this pattern, you're good to go. The repeat pattern for row 2 is just skipping the next stitch, and in the following stitch, making a single and a double. Repeat this pattern all the way across for row 2, and I will meet you at the end of row 2 to show you how we will close the row and how we will move on to row 3. At the end of row 2, we're actually going to make our little grouping in the very last stitch. So skip the next, in the last stitch, make a single crochet and a double crochet. So single and double, just like that. Boom. Okay, that is how we're going to end row 2.
Once you've completed row 2, it's time for row 3. Here's how to continue building that repeat pattern for the alternate stitch.
Looking at January 3rd, if we are using the exact same color, the temperature didn't change, we're in the same temperature range, then all we're going to do is start by chaining 1 and turning our work, just like this. I'm going to pause right there, because if you do need to change colors, if there is a significant temperature difference, then just grab your scissors, cut a long enough tail for you to weave in that end, tie off your work by yarning over, pulling the yarn through the loop that's on your crochet hook, turning your work, and then grabbing the next color. We're going to pretend that I'm going back to the color that I used in row 1, creating a slip knot, attaching my crochet hook, and slip stitch into the very first stitch just to attach the new yarn to the project. Just like that. And then chain 1, and you are now in the same position as if you had just kept the same color, chained 1, and turned your work. All right, for row 3, we are going to make that single crochet, double crochet grouping on the top of every double crochet stitch. So this very first stitch is a double crochet, so I'm going to single crochet and double crochet into that first stitch. There we go. Looks just like that. And then we're going to skip the next stitch because that was a single crochet. Following stitch is a double. Single crochet. Oop, I can get this. And double crochet into the top of that stitch. Then skip the next, in the following, single crochet and double crochet. And repeat this pattern across, and I'll meet up with you at the end of row 3 to show you how we will close the row and how you will continue this pattern. Double crochet. Great. And then at the very end of row 3, we're going to skip that single crochet stitch, and in that space, that skipped first stitch here, we did a chain 1 and we just kind of dove right into the first grouping. But between that single crochet stitch and that chain 1, make your last grouping. A single crochet and a double crochet, and that will end row 3, and it'll help keep everything level. And now moving on every row, you don't have to worry about that chain 1 space. It's not going to apply. It's not going to be a part of the pattern moving forward. You're just going to keep looking for that last double crochet stitch or first double crochet stitch and make your grouping in the top of the double crochet. Just to show you at the end of every row moving forward, this is the end of row 4, skipping the single crochet, finding that last double crochet stitch, and making my grouping, single crochet, double crochet, and you will actually leave that last single crochet stitch unworked. That way it'll kind of have like a jagged edge to the project, but it will continue to stay level. A side is not going to fray outward or inward. So that is how you're going to end every single row, starting with row 4 through January 31st.
And there you go. Row 3 completes the repeat pattern demonstration. And now you're all set to continue day by day, just repeating row 3 every day for the month of January. And there you have it, the start of your 2025 temperature sampler blanket. From here, you'll crochet 1 row every day using the temperature, using the color indicated by your temperature gauge for that day. And you'll just keep repeating row 3 of the alternate stitch every day for the month of January. I love that we are starting with the alternate stitch. It's a 1 row repeat. It's very relaxing, very repetitive, and it's also very beautiful. It's a great way to begin this project. Now, I'll meet back up with you on Saturday, January 25th, so circle that date, very important. That's when I'm gonna be dropping a brand new video revealing February's crochet stitch of the month. Until then, keep up with your daily rows and share your progress with me in the Crochet Club community. I'm going to be creating a brand new chat room in my Crochet Club membership that is completely free to anyone and everyone. I'll put a link to this chat room in the description section below, and you'll see why I love my Crochet Club membership so much. By accessing this free chat room in my Crochet Club membership for this 2025 temperature sampler blanket project, you are able to upload pictures, ask questions, share your progress with the blanket as we are working it. It's so much fun and it's very user friendly. I really do hope that you give this link a try, that you try out this community, and that you post pictures of the colors you're using and your journey as you work up this project. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to start this year-long journey, this year-long experience with you. We're gonna have a blast. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, super important to hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss any of the update videos, the update posts that I put in my community tab here on YouTube. Check out that chat room area. Please post pictures. Let's make this year's temperature sampler blanket project the best one yet. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care and have fun.